Of course I use my Steam Deck for its intended purpose. How could you tell? When most people hear the words PC gaming, they probably think playing console games on the computer, which, I mean, yeah, you can play video games on the computer. However, there's a lot more you can do than just that. People who do play on PC, the first things they probably think of is modding or emulation. And, of course, the Steam Deck, being a handheld PC gaming device, means you have Steam Workshop on here for modding, or if you play Minecraft, you have ways to mod that. Or if you're big into emulation, you, of course, can throw all sorts of emulators on there. Or you can throw a little front end like Emulation Station or EmuDeck. I just like to use the standalone emulators. But something I don't hear anyone talk about when it comes to the Steam Deck is fan games and, ROM hacks. I bundle them together as they're both some sort of form of game made by a fan. So I figured I might as well make a video on it because there's at least like 2 fan games that I really like playing that I did throw on my Steam Deck so that I could, play them on the go. I have 4 games on here that I'll show off. Of course, these are games I play on my main PC, so playing them on the go just sounded like a really, really fun idea to me, so I threw them all on a little flash drive and I put them on here. But of course, you don't need a flash drive, you can just download them through a web browser. And it's really easy to do. You just, first you put your Steam Deck in desktop mode. You go and either download the game, or if you're like me, throw it on a flash drive if it's already on your computer. You open up Steam, you click on the little add a game button, you click on add a non-Steam game, and once you add it, of course, because the Steam Deck runs on Linux, you have to right-click on the game, click on Properties, click on Compatibility, and then hit that little check mark that says use a specific version of Proton. Once you have the game added on here, you can just go to Library, go over to Non-Steam, and of course you'll have your games and whatever in here. And all you have to do is go back to gaming mode, press the play button, and it just boots right up. Yeah, look at that. Awesome. And while we're at it, I might as well talk about what fan games I have on here. The first is Super Mario 64 Co-op Deluxe. And this is the first fan game I threw on here because I was playing it and I was like, hey, I betcha I can throw this on the Steam Deck and then I can just play this whenever. So, of course, throwing this game on the Steam Deck was a no-brainer for me. I can just boot it up and see what lobbies everyone has up right now. And I think we'll just try out this arena game up here. I personally really like playing Flood, but of course you can play all sorts of stuff on here. Oh, let me zoom out my camera. I like playing with my camera zoomed out. Look, there's a little guy over there. And another guy over here. Let's grab this hammer. Of course, you can always host your own little game too, so you can either do Direct Connect or you can use their little online service co-op net thing, which is probably which is really what most people use. And let's see here. I have skins. I have... What game mode do I have selected right now? Shine Thief? Let's turn that off and let's do Flood. Actually, nah, you know what? I changed my mind. Let's do Shine Thief. I don't actually know if I'll actually get anyone to join, but I figured, why not? Let's show it off. And we are playing on McDonald's. I guess while I'm waiting, I'll switch my dude over. Alright, this is the Mario I want to play with. There we go. I keep hitting the pole. But yeah, that's the first one I threw on here. And then that got me thinking, hey, what else can I throw on here? So the second thing I threw on here was, of course, a fan game that, you know, most people think of when they hear fan games. Super Smash Flash 2. This is a fan-made Super Smash Brothers that's been around for a very long time. I remember when I was a kid and the roster was much smaller. And over the years, they've continually updated this game, which is pretty cool. The creators went on to also make their own original Smash Brothers game called Fraymakers, which has a whole Steam workshop, and yeah, of course, that's pretty cool too. There's not really much I need to explain. It's fan-made Smash Brothers. I can have Mario fighting Goku. And what better place for them to fight than on the Thousand Sunny? Yeah, this is just goofy and I love it. So yeah, that one's self-explanatory. So let's go on to the third game I added. New Super Mario Brothers versus, or Mario versus Luigi. This game has two titles, because the exe file says Mario versus Luigi, but the title screen says New Super Mario Brothers versus. Regardless, if you don't know what this is the Mario versus Luigi mode from New Super Mario Brothers on the Nintendo DS. Except now it's been turned into a 10-player online game. And this is a nice game that you can just, if you have like a few minutes to kill, just boot this up, search for a lobby, and hop right in. Let's join. You can, of course, switch between who you want to play as. You can be Mario or you can be Luigi. And of course, you have a bunch of different colors you can pick from here. Of course, I went with the melon pumpkin head colors. This game also has a bunch of new maps and power-ups added to it. They added the propeller suit, the ice flower, and then I think there's like 5 new maps. Let's go create a lobby. You can make your lobby private too. But yeah, looking through here, you have all the different maps. 1, 2, 3, 4, yes, 5 new maps. And then of course, you have your different conditions that you can just type in whatever number you want. If my keyboard will work. There we go. We can say something. We can say something silly like 34. I think 10 is a good amount though, so I'll just keep it on that. You can do lives if you want. And then of course you can... And then of course if you don't want the custom power-ups, you can turn those off. You can also limit how many players can be in the room. And then of course to invite your friends, you can just click this little copy ID button. And because I'm on the Steam Deck, I would just end up pasting it in here and tell my friends, okay, this is the code. But on the computer, you can just send it right to them. They'll type that code in and they'll join the room. And the last one I'm going to go over is the latest one I added, Famicom Fighters. It's a little Mugen fan game. If you don't know what Mugen is, it's a little thing that people use to make their own little fighting games. You can, of course, download it and download a bunch of characters people made and make your own little fighting game with it. Or what some people do is make full-fledged, like, custom title screens and game modes and whatnot. And this one is very neat. I'll just have the demo play so you can get an idea of what it's like. But yeah, it's just NES, Famicom characters, Mario, Dig Dug, Black Mage, so on and so forth. It's like a traditional arcade fighting game. But here's the nice little thing is, let's go into the practice mode. It really only uses 2 buttons, A and B. It does also use a third button, but I'll get into that in a minute. So you get your little select your helper at the top. We'll go with Link. Your A button is your punch, your B button is your kick. And then there's a third button. So in the controls they call it start, but it's actually by default bound to the R button, which, you know, pulled out my assist. But also, if you go up to them and do left or right, it's a grab. Why is it start though? Well, because when they made this game, they designed it around the idea of using an actual NES style controller with it. And because you don't have all these buttons on an NES controller, they figured, okay, we'll use the start button as the grab or assist button. But the fact that it's bound here by default is nice because, you know, when you play a traditional fighting game, if it's a 6-button fighter, you're using these 2 buttons and then your shoulder button, trigger button. I like to use shoulder and trigger. Some people like to use both shoulders. Because it's a nice little 2-button fighter, you don't have to be like, oh, you gotta do a light kick with a heavy punch and a... No, you can just say, here's your punch, here's your kick, and if you go up to someone, you can grab them with this button, other button. And of course, because it's a fighting game, you have your different inputs. Here's his quarter circle input, here's his Shoryuken input. And yeah, I just think that's a neat little fighting game. Simple 2-button fighter. Just grab your friends and be like, here, try this out. And those are the fan games I have on my Steam Deck. The ones I end up playing the most on here are either New Super Mario Bros. Or Mario 64. Though I do mostly play my actual PC games on here and, you know, some emulation too. But what do you think? Do you have any fan games that maybe you think would be great to throw on this thing? Or maybe some ROM hacks? I know some people like to use those randomizer ROM hacks. That might be something fun to put on the Steam Deck. Leave a comment down below if there's anything that you like to do or would like to do with your Steam Deck when it comes to fan games on the go. Thank you for watching.